In 2023, the Philippine College of Physicians celebrates 7 decades of excellence in internal medicine. Join us on the road to 70 in a pre-convention series of conferences leading up to the 53rd Annual Congress of the Philippine College of Physicians on May 7 to 10, 2023 at the Philippine International Convention Center.
It all begins with the Nutrition Summit on January 31, 2023.
The Nutrition Summit calls on the PCP to check your facts, focus on the internist's guide to comprehensive nutrition care. Expect relevant discussions on the various facets of nutritional care in select patient populations from a multidisciplinary perspective, highlighting both basic and advanced concepts in nutrition. Blaze the road to 70 with the Philippine College of Physicians as we jumpstart with the Nutrition Summit
on January 31.
Save the date. In 2023, the Philippine College of Physicians celebrates 7 decades of excellence in internal medicine. Join us on the road to 70 in a pre-convention series of conferences leading up to the 53rd Annual Congress of the Philippine College of Physicians on May 7 to 10, 2023 at the Philippine International Convention Center.
It all begins with the Nutrition Summit on January 31, 2023.
The Nutrition Summit calls on the PCP to check your facts, focus on the internist's guide to comprehensive nutrition care. Expect relevant discussions on the various facets of nutritional care in select patient populations from a multidisciplinary perspective, highlighting both basic and advanced concepts in nutrition. Blaze the road to 70 with the Philippine College of Physicians as we jumpstart with the Nutrition Summit
on January 31.
Save the date.
Internists occupy a unique role in healthcare. They are experts in a spectrum of diseases and complex illness, earning the moniker, the Doctor's Doctor. Internists use their vast knowledge, experience, and skill to identify the best possible treatment strategies, making them scientific puzzle solvers. They are proponents of extensive clinical research, evidence-based medicine, and continuing education, fueled by the commitment to provide high-value patient care that balances science and compassion. In 2023, the Philippine College of Physicians celebrates 70 years of excellence and service above gain. Driven by passion, constancy of purpose, and prudence in internal medicine. Take part in the 53rd Annual Congress of the Philippine College of Physicians on May 7 to 10, 2023 at the Philippine International Convention Center. Together, let's revisit all that we've become and move toward all that we can be.
Iba na kasi ang panahon ngayon. Pakiramdam mo, naglalakad kang pauwi ng hating gabi at kinakabahan ka. Yun bang kahit anong ingat mo, anytime, pwede kang matiyempuhan ng masasamang loob.
Tuwing lalabas ka ng bahay, ang dami mong iniisip na pwedeng mangyari. Para bang nasa gitna ka ng dilim. At nagdarasal ka na lang na sana may proprotekta sa'yo kung sakasakali.
Ang pandemya ay parang isang iskinita na kailangang daanan. Alam mong may nagtatago sa dilim, pero wala kang nakikita. Puno ka lagi ng pangamba. Pero may liwanag na naghihintay
may proteksyon laban sa COVID-19. May maaasahan kang backup. It's time to vac up. Oras na para magpa-COVID-19 vaccine booster for backup protection, control, and prevention. Para sa mga 5 taong gulang at pataas, eligible na kayo para sa first booster shot kung nakumpleto nyo na ang inyong vaccine primary series. If you are a senior citizen or a frontline health worker who is 18 years old or above and have completed your first booster, you are eligible for a second booster shot ayon sa Philippine Department of Health. Ang COVID-19 vaccine boosters ay nagbibigay ng karagdagang proteksyon na maaaring humina na ang bisa mula ng inyong huling vaccination. Booster shots are effective in helping prevent serious illness, hospitalization, and even death. So, stay up to date with your COVID-19 vaccination. Kasama na dito ang booster shots. Magtanong sa inyong doktor o barangay clinic kung ano ang naaangkop na COVID-19 vaccine at tamang panahon para sa inyo. Sabay-sabay nating lakbayin ang daang patungo sa malusog, malakas at magandang kinabukasan. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Help control and prevent the spread of COVID-19. It's time to vac up. Internists occupy a unique role in healthcare. They are experts in a spectrum of diseases and complex illness, earning the moniker, the doctor's doctor. Internists use their vast knowledge, experience, and skill to identify the best possible treatment strategies, making them scientific puzzle solvers. They are proponents of extensive clinical research, evidence-based medicine, and continuing education, fueled by the commitment to provide high-value patient care that balances science and compassion. In 2023, the Philippine College of Physicians celebrates 70 years of excellence and service above gain. Driven by passion, constancy of purpose, and prudence in internal medicine. Take part in the 53rd Annual Congress of the Philippine College of Physicians on May 7 to 10, 2023 at the Philippine International Convention Center. Together, let's revisit all that we've become and move toward all that we can be.
Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of our Lord. Our dearest Heavenly Father, thank you for making all things possible. We are grateful for all the blessings you are pouring upon each one of us, despite the challenges we are all currently facing. Thank you for blessing us today with the wonderful opportunity to meet virtually and learn together in the awesomely exciting webinar. May your blessings of wisdom and guidance be upon us, all through the sharing and impartation of knowledge and skills by our resource speakers, facilitators, and moderators. May all of us learn together, upgrade our competencies, and capacitate us to be the help in the development of our learners' lives and communities in the spirit of your love and generosity. May we now humbly commit every part of this webinar to you as we all bring you the glory, honor, and praises for your kingdom and holy name's sake. All this we pray in the precious name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
Through the dreadful darkness, we shall be the light and lead a path to wisdom. Our will to be our light. To those in pain and suffering, we shall hear a call. With arms to care and comfort from that above all, to face the brighter future, found in unity, the Trinity College of Precision, we shall be. Hand in hand, building a stronger nation, peace in
The Philippine College of Physicians, through the Committee on Media Communication and Health Forum, presents its bi-monthly lay forum to promote the advocacies and mission of the college and its component and affiliate societies. An avenue of accurate and up-to-date conversations with the media and the general public, with timely and diverse topics covering vital public health and medical information, straight from the experts. In a platform that is convenient, accessible, and highly engaging. Welcome to the PCP Health Forum.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Health Forum for this PCP webinar. So, the hustle and bustle are real, and the Christmas rush is to be felt now that it's 3 days away from Simbang Gabi and it's 13 days before Christmas. As we all know, here in our country, where Christmas is celebrated the longest, starting with the birth months, when the young and the old alike look forward to the festivities and celebration. And as they say, it is the happiest time of the year. The Filipino celebration is not complete without serving good food and drinks that makes the parties colorful and enjoyable. We have the lechon, the puto bumbong, bibingka, hamon, queso de bola, to name a few of the traditional food served by each family during this season of celebration. For the past 3 years, there were limits in celebrating due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But today, with the easing of the restrictions, I am sure that we all miss each other and we wanted to exchange big hugs and kisses, not virtually now, but face to face. All of these restrictions can cause us stress and affect our health condition to our patients. In PCP, we believe that we can still celebrate without compromising our health to stay healthy and safe. So we took this opportunity to talk about the health essentials this Christmas season. So to start off with the webinar, may I call on the Vice President of the PCP, Dr. Ron Jean Solante, to give us the welcome remarks. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Ginger. Good morning. And good morning also to our participants and guests for this PCP Health Forum. First of all, I would like to congratulate your committee, Ginger, no, for coming up with this important topic on health essentials during this Christmas. And we know that, as you have mentioned, people will really be celebrating. But we have to temper the expectations at this point in time because COVID is still with us now. But the other problem here is that we have also non-communicable diseases that we need to address. And with this particular season, we see people will be celebrating. And there are risks and hazards also with that. No? So with 3 topics this morning, like alcoholism, air pollution, and of course, nutrition, I hope we will be enlightened and we will also be guided what are the important essentials that we need to know all about these 3 aspects of the topic. And hopefully we can also guide our listeners and viewers that celebrating Christmas is an important part of the season, but also we need to take care of our health. Thank you, Ginger.
Thank you, Dr. Solante, for that message. No, so now we will start with. We're going to have a. This lecture is quite different from the usual because we will have 3 topics that is compressed to talk about the health essentials of the Christmas season. So we have 3 speakers that will be giving their short lectures, and later on you can ask questions. So you can type in your questions or comments from the Facebook platform and also from our Zoom platform. So for our first speaker, I'll be introducing the speakers all at the same time. And later on, after their respective lecture, we will be open for the open forum. So our first lecturer, for this time, she will be wearing a different hat. I know she looks familiar and she sounds familiar to everyone who are constant or regular viewers for this media forum. We have Dr. Frances Gail M. Toralba. She is now our speaker, not a moderator for this time. She's a section head of the nutrition of the University of the East Ramon Magsaysay Hospital, Department of Medicine, and also the head of the Calamba Medical Center. She's also an assistant professor at the University of the East, a member of the board of directors of the Philippine Society for Parenteral and Enteral Nutrition, or what we call PhilSPEN. She's also a fellow of the Philippine College of Physicians, a fellow of the Philippine College of Medical Nutrition and Physicians. She will be talking about what to eat, what healthy food we could eat this season and still celebrate. Yan. So medyo yung task ni Gail very hard kasi ang equation natin ng minsan ang masarap hindi healthy, di ba? Yun ang connotation. So meron pa ring masarap. I'm sure that Dr. Gail will lecture on that. Masarap pero healthy. Okay, and our next speaker will be Dr. Ronald D. Palma. He took his subspecialty training in pulmonary rehabilitation at the Philippine Heart Center. He also took another fellowship training in an adult nephrology and critical care at the same hospital at the Philippine Heart Center. He took his residency training in internal medicine at the Silliman University Medical Center, Daro, Dumaguete City, and he is currently a member of the Philippine College of Chest Physicians Council on Control of Tobacco and Air Pollution. So, alam nyo na, may clue na kayo what Dr. Palma will be talking about. Yung sa New Year, na mahilig tayong magpaputok, magpakwitis and everything, mga firecrackers. So, he will be talking about the effect of this, possible effect of this celebration in terms of pollution and also to our health. But the last and not the least, syempre, we're very fortunate for this morning to be lectured by our own president. Kanina si Dr. si Sir Solante, VP. Now we have the president later on who will talk about alcohol drinking during the season. We have Dr. Professor Diana Alcantara Payawal. So currently, she is the president of the PCP, a professor at the Fatima University Medical Center, a chair of the Department of Internal Medicine at Fatima University Medical Center in Valenzuela, and she is a chair of the Hepatology Committee, section of Gastroenterology, Cardinal Santos Medical Center. She also had her Harvard Medical School Leadership Scholarship Program with the recognition of excellence in change management, Harvard Medical School Postgraduate Medical Education. She's also a past president of the Asian Pacific Study of the Liver, Philippine Society of Gastroenterology, and the Hepatology Society of the Philippines. So, friends, colleagues, hindi ko na po papatagalin pa. Alam ko marami po tayong matututunan tong umaga na to. May I call on our first speaker, Dr. Gail Toralba, to talk about eating healthy during the Christmas season. Hello, Gail.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Thank you to Dr. Samonte for the introduction and to the Philippine College of Physicians for the opportunity to speak. For today's Health Forum, I will briefly talk about one of the 3 topics this morning na sigurado po ako favorite ng karamihan ng Pinoy, at ito ay food o pagkain. Hindi po nakokompleto ang Christmas ng mga Pilipino kung walang salo-salo, at ang Christmas party ay punong-puno ng masasarap na pagkain. But the question is, can we actually eat healthy during this holiday season? How can we avoid getting sick because of too much food intake? So these pictures show us some of the food staples present in every Christmas party or during Noche Buena. Sa dami po ng nakahain sa hapagkainan, kahit sa picture na ito, I'm sure ang prutas ang hindi napansin agad. Tama po ba? Unang-una, hinahanap sa party ang lechon, at kung mapapansin ninyo, ang lutong Pinoy ay masarsa at malinamnam po talaga. Kaya naman, madaming nahihikayat at tikman lahat ng nakahanda at kumain ng madami. Pero bago kayo mag-indulge ngayong Pasko, lalo na't halos araw-araw may celebration at Christmas party, we need to be honest with ourselves. How healthy are you? Where are you in the spectrum? Are you underweight, or are you fortunate enough to have a healthy weight? Or are you actually overweight or obese? So if you are already overweight or obese, and if you have other illnesses such as hypertension, diabetes, and other non-communicable lifestyle-related diseases, you really have to think twice before eating a lot of food in every party you will be attending this holiday. So after reading on several holiday tips, here are some practical tips I combined to help us make healthier choices and to prevent us from overeating this holiday season. And I divided it into 2 different scenarios. To different scenarios rather, and how you can contribute whether you are the host or the guest in a party. Una, kapag whole day celebration or family reunion, kung saan na-anticipate ninyo na hindi lang 3 beses kayo kakain, may almusal, merienda sa umaga, may lunch, merienda sa hapon, may dinner at bedtime snack or inuman pa sa gabi. So kung ikaw ang host ng party, it is important to plan out the menu in such a way that you balance the available food choices, making vegetables, fruits, low carb food, low fat, less salty, and less oily food available. You have to take into consideration that there are some people who decided to be a vegetarian or be on a plant-based diet at the beginning of the year, but when they attend the party, there are no plant-based options, so they end up eating whatever is available. Therefore, it is important to include in the menu plant-based choices or healthier food choices. For the guest, if you anticipate that you will be eating the whole day, eat a hearty, heavy breakfast, but eat less amount of food throughout the day, getting only small amounts or portion sizes, and avoid sugary drinks and alcohol intake. When you're attending a party wherein potluck is required, as the host, you may suggest a list of food items to include a variety of food and a combination of healthy food. So before serving to guests, try to cut the food items into smaller portion sizes to encourage taking small pieces only, and do not bring out all dessert items all at once. For the guests, try to bring healthier viands and healthy dessert choices, and also bring food items with smaller portion sizes. So mas na-encourage na mas koonti ang kukunin kung mas maliliit ang gaya. So if your get together is an eat all you can buffet, choose a buffet place with more healthy food choices, specifically those with shabu-shabu or healthy soups. Drink water before eating. Always get a small plate so you can fill it with less food. And go to the healthy food section first and eat vegetables first, and eat meat and dessert last. And you also still have to avoid sugary drinks, and you have to try to eat slowly. Take time to eat at least 20 minutes, because this is the time frame for you to feel full. And you have to take a 10-minute break before getting second serving, pausing in between eating before you get the second or third serving. And this will give you yourself time to feel more full or to reach your satiety level. So I'm sure there are more tips that you can add to the list. But in general, always remember that if you don't love or like the food, don't eat it. You do not have to force yourself to eat everything on the plate, especially if you think that the food is bad for your health. You also have to make a plan. Mindful eating is important. If the party is dinner time, try to eat less during breakfast and lunch, but do not starve yourself for the whole day in preparation for the big meal. In short, do not go to a party on an empty stomach, because you will tend to overeat during the party. And you also have to keep your focus. Focus less on the food and drinks. Go around and converse and connect with the other guests. Communicating more with others would help you have less time to eat. And of course, the FNR IDOST came up with the Pinggang Pinoy, which is a healthy food plate for Filipinos, which can be followed not just during the holiday season, but all year round. So as you can see, ideally, half of the plate should be composed of the go or glow foods, which is mostly vegetables. It encourages eating more fruits and vegetables. But of course, if you are a diabetic, you may need to limit fruit intake. And all else fails, kung makalimutan nyo lahat ng binanggit ko earlier, lagi ko to sinasabi na maaaring tumingin kayo sa inyong kamay para maalala ang sukat o dami ng pwede ninyong kainin. So, ang kalahating cup ng kanin ay kasing dami ng nakakamao na kamay. And ang dulo ng hintuturo na daliri ay isang teaspoon. Ang palad ay isang serving ng meat. at ang hinlalaki ay katumbas ng about 2 tablespoons. But for me, a very practical tip is what my father taught me. So according to the Japanese way or the approach to eating, always remember harahachi bonni or harahachibu, which means to eat until you're 80% full. And this encourages everyone to eat less since mindful eating is the key. So after the holidays, by 2023, I hope from being overweight or obese, we may consider achieving a healthy weight. But for those who are already healthy, may you continue to maintain a healthy weight after the holidays and until the next year. So thank you very much for listening this Christmas. Stay healthy and remember to still stay safe. Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Gail, thank you so much for your tips and things that you taught us for this morning. So may I call on the second lecturer, Dr. Ronald, to give us his lecture.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that kind introduction. I'm representing the PCCP Council on the Control of Tobacco and Air Pollution. Today, I am tasked to present the topic on firecrackers and its contribution to air pollution. So this is the outline of my short lecture. So it was believed to have started in China during the lunar year, New Year, where people do this to drive away the bad luck and bad spirits. It was then adopted by the Filipinos, who continued to develop the industry until it flourished in Bukawi, Bulacan. So here are the 6 famous kinds of firecrackers. Familiar po tayo lahat dito. Of course, you have your sparklers, your lucis, triangles, your quitis, and of course, hindi mawawala ang sinturon na Judas or Judas belt. So, in their simplest form, the firecrackers consist of gunpowder wrapped in paper with a fuse. But very shortly, let us take a closer look as to ano po yung science behind firecrackers, no? Para we can understand paano siya nag-affect sa ating health, no? So of course it is composed of metal compounds which produce an intense color when burned. Then you have the fuel composed mostly of your potassium nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal. And you have your oxidizers. These are required to provide oxygen for combustion. You have your binders to hold the mixture together. Most commonly used is the dextrine. And then you have your chlorine donors. So fireworks displays can be very spectacular, but they can also cause negative effects in the environment. Here we take a look at some of the issues. So fireworks produce a lot of very small particles which can remain suspended in the air for some time after the display. This significantly increases the concentration of particulate matter in the air, and then inhalation of these particles can have adverse effects on the respiratory and cardiovascular systems. So percolate compounds, as mentioned earlier, these percolate compounds can contaminate bodies of water near fireworks display. No? Elevated concentrations of perchlorate in water can affect wildlife, and it may also affect human health if it contaminates drinking water. Then your metal compounds, these metals persist in the environment. Then some particles of toxic metals show increases in atmospheric concentrations in the days after fireworks display. So, of course, fireworks lead to elevated levels of well-known polluting gases in the atmosphere. These gases include nitrogen dioxide and sulfur oxide, which can cause respiratory problems or exacerbate health problems such as asthma. So they can also react in the atmosphere to form particulate matter. So virtually, almost lahat, no, every organ in the body is at risk, especially given the huge quantities of firecrackers that are burst during the New Year's Eve. So data collected by monitoring stations have showed that high levels of toxins, especially during the months of December and January. So the combustion cloud can contain harmful fumes such as ozone and nitric oxide. And then smoke from consumer fireworks is of most concern because sila yung sa lower level, no, na madaling ma-inhale agad compared to the professional displays na medyo mataas yung combustion. Additionally, in this time where the issues of climate change and global warming are being presented with a sense of urgency, we need to be concerned about the greenhouse gases fireworks produce. So pregnant women, children, and those having chronic asthma are most vulnerable to these exposures. The SPM levels can cause sore throat. It can lead to headaches and reduced mental acuity. It has much more severe effects in people with heart and nervous system disorders. And of course, fireworks can also cause respiratory problems such as chronic or allergic bronchitis, bronchial asthma, sinusitis, rhinitis, pneumonia, and unwanted noise has also harmful effects as well. No, standard noise level set by the Department of Environment and Natural Resources for the ambient environment is only 60 decibels during daytime and 50 decibels during nighttime. However, fireworks can exceed up to 140 decibels, and this increase in the sound levels can lead to restlessness and temporary or permanent hearing loss. So ito lang po yung nakita ko na published paper, although regularly the DOH meron silang pinapakitang figures annually, no, after the New Year's Eve. So this is a study done in 2015. This is a 16-day annual surveillance period, and this is a descriptive study investigating fireworks-related injuries all over the country. And then, as you can see in the graph, there is a bimodal peak in injury cases during the 16-day annual surveillance period, with a small peak on 25th of December and a sharp peak over the 2-day period between December 31 and January 1. So consistent po ito for all the 5 years na study po. And most of the severe injuries, amputations, eye injuries were due to illegal ignitions. Then, of course, higher in males. And very alarming is the children aged 10 to 14 years old, and 5 to 9 years old accounted for almost half of the cases. And most common sites were hands, legs, and eyes. So during this study period was highest recorded in these provinces and cities. Then with this figure, comparing the 2010-2014 data, there is a remarkable decrease in numbers. So according to DOH, only 167 cases, and probably the significant reduction in the number of recorded cases may be attributed to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic affecting people's willingness and ability to celebrate through the use of fireworks, and of course also attributed to the efforts of our national government agencies. So the previous report on the ENR has shown that air pollution levels in Metro Manila cities have exceeded the safe standards during the first 2 hours in the most recent New Year in January 1, 2022. No? So the short-term limit for 24-hour averaging time for particulate matter 10 or PM10 is only 150 micrograms. No? This is based on the guidelines set by the Republic Act 8749 or the Clean Air Act. No? Based on the data, the Marikina City peaked at 347, while Manila reached 156 between 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. with increase in percentage both in compared to the 2021 data. So meron na siyang trend ulit na pataas na compared to the yung season ng yung time ng pandemic. So this is the act regulating the sale and manufacture of the firecrackers and pyrotechnic devices. So we have a list of the allowed na firecrackers, and anything po na hindi mentioned sa list na sinet ng law na yan is prohibited. So this is the penalties for as mentioned po sa Republic Act na yan, the penalties of 20,000 to 30,000 pesos and 6 months to 1 year and imprisonment. So during the time of Duterte, he released the Executive Order 28. So ito po yung nag-regulate ng firecrackers during his time. He only allowed the use of firecrackers to trained professionals in controlled areas only. No, so dito na po tayo sa pinaka-gist ng ating lecture. No? So the first aid for fireworks injuries. No? So the best way to reduce the risk of fireworks injuries is to go to a well-organized public display. So as mentioned, more than half of all fireworks injuries occur at private parties. And then if you decide, kung sa atin pong mga bahay, if you still decide now to have your own fireworks, you should also ensure to have a well-stocked fireworks first aid kit, including how to deal fireworks related injuries. So your fireworks first aid kit must have the following materials: the sterile saline for washing out ice and cleaning debris out of wounds, and lint-free dressings, cotton wool pads, cling film to protect large burns. And of course, you must have pain relievers, and then plenty of water. Ito po yung kailangan natin for cooling of burns, scissors, and then a fire blanket if needed. So minor burns are the most common firework-related injury, with a quarter of all fireworks injuries caused by usually po mga sparklers daw, according to studies. So to treat a minor burn, hold the burn area under cold running water for at least 10 minutes, or if a tap is not available, keep the injury po, ibabad lang po natin sa water. So the faster you treat a burn, the less damage it will do, and the faster it will heal. So you must act fast. So once you have cooled the burn, you cover it with a specialized sterile burn dressing, and then take take the victim to an emergency room or minor injuries unit. So another advice is never burst blisters or rub the wound. Avoid cloth bandages or cotton wool dressing pads when dressing the wound. So for eye injuries, if there is a loose foreign body in the eye, you should rinse this out carefully using sterile saline or fresh clean water. If there is an object embedded in the eye, do not try to remove it yourself. You should cover the eye with a protective pad and seek urgent specialist help. You should encourage them to keep their eyes still, remind them that moving their uninjured eye will also make their injured eye more move. So for amputations, the explosive power of fireworks can occasionally lead victims losing a finger in an incident. No? So if mangyari po ito, sit or lay the victim down or raise the affected hand to slow the bleeding, apply pressure. Then if you can find, kung meron pong natanggal na finger, wrap it in a clean damp cloth and make sure it goes with them to the hospital. And reminder lang po, do not place the finger in ice as this can damage the blood vessels and mahirapan na po yung mga surgeon natin na i-reattach. Then for inhalational injury, first, in every patient with a history of unconsciousness, and if you have this if you have patients that will present with skin burns, presence of soot, stridor, black sputum, and singed hair, might consider an inhalational injury. So the management po is focus po yun sa pulmonary clearance and optimization, and also advise the patient to be admitted for monitoring of infections, respiratory failure. For what to see, this is based on my readings na po sa internet. Accordingly, let the patient drink egg whites, 6 to 8 egg whites sa bata, and 8 to 12 egg whites for adults. No? Kung hindi po niya kaya, try juice from citrus fruits such as oranges or soda. And of course, bring the patient to the nearest hospital. So my final message po for this short lecture is ano po yung alternatives natin in celebrating the New Year's Eve. No? So taguyod po at makilahok po sa community fireworks display as encouraged po ng ating former president. Then kung pwede po is to stay inside your house at magdiwang ng ligtas kasama ang pamilya. And alternative po na pang tanggal malas po, pang-iwas malas is lumakha ng ingay gamit ng ibang bagay. So such as your torotot, busina, musika, etc. So street party before the pandemic were encouraged, no, to prevent po yung mga injuries, pero now medyo cautious po tayo doon. And then lastly, matuto po tayo sa mga aral ng nakaraan and magsimula ng maayos na buhay sa bagong taon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ronald. Very comprehensive and very clear message about the effect of these firecrackers on air pollution and to our health. And for the last series of our panel discussion about the health essentials, may I call on the president of the PCP, Dr. Diana Payawal, to talk about alcohol drinking during the Christmas season. Good morning, ma'am. Naka-mute pa yata si ma'am.
So maybe you can ask questions. Wait, unmute. Okay, thank you. So good afternoon to everyone. Can I just give me 5 minutes to download my slide because it's having problems with the computer. I'm in a
Okay.
bit.
Sige, ma'am.
Maybe you can ask questions muna. Okay.
Yes, I'll
Thank
just
you. Thank you.
proceed.
Okay.
Oo.
Thank you.
First question for Dr. Gail while we're waiting for Dr. Diana. Dr. Gail, does the celebration give us a license to eat? Kasi karamihan yung pasyente, di ba, pa nagpa-check up sa'yo, sabihin niya, Doktora, Pasko naman po. Minsan lang kami magkikita-kita ng mga anak ko. Once a year naman po yan. Bakit naman po niyo ako pipigilan? I think that's the more common or yan ang karamihan tanong ng mga tao. How would you approach that question or comment from our patients or even our parents? Or tayo, minsan tayo din, guilty dyan.
That's a bargaining question, no, for not just our patients, also for us with our colleagues. We try to convince ourselves that we have to celebrate the Christmas season, the holiday season. Therefore, we have to eat whatever we want. But as I repeatedly mentioned in my lecture, it's a choice of portion size and what you choose to eat, yung klase po ng pagkain, no? So there are different yung different na kinds of ways of cooking po, no? So we just have to emphasize that if they really want to eat food, it has to be the ones prepared in such a way na hindi po masyadong fatty, oily, not too sweet, doesn't contain too much cream or marami pong nakahalo na ingredients that could increase the energy intake of the patients. And of course yung mga salty food, no, and then the processed then and the cured, kasi di ba pag Christmas po there are also mga ham, yes, cured meat, no, which are actually really salty din. So yun, but of course it's a thing na if every day po na talagang yung pagkain is really a lot and at sumusobra po talaga yung intake, mukhang kailangan talagang eat in moderation po talaga. So parang to educate our patients, it's really they have to use either a smaller plate or kailangan talagang sundin po yung partitions in the plate na when they place their food, kailangan half is vegetables, 1/4 is the rice or the equivalent, and then 1/4 also is the meat equivalent. So yun, it's not a license to eat too much, pero they really have to watch out for yung effects of overeating because yung iba sumasakit ang tiyan, others have developed diarrhea, depende sa mga nakain pag sobrang dami po, no, especially oily yung food. So yun, talagang kailangan lang pong emphasize na to eat in moderation.
Okay. May isa pa akong question na common na ginagawa. Even me, guilty ako yan. For example, attend ako ng party, ng dinner. Narinig ko yan sa lecture mo kanina. Ang nangyayari, hindi na kakain ng almusal or lunch. Can you comment on that?
Yes. Parang we're doing that in preparation to eat a really big meal. Pero yun, if you read kasi yung mga literature, you really have to eat timely to avoid overeating in the next meal. So you still have to eat something. Just choose lighter meals para during the biggest event of the day you can eat more. But otherwise, you really have to choose what you're eating then. Even if you're going to a big event, you really have to choose which among the many food available is the one you're going to eat. So kung talagang you're going to take everything, you just have to take smaller portions po talaga. Parang ang iniisip mo ng iba, sige, intermittent fasting. Pero Oo, hindi po gano'n 'yun na when you arrive at the time that you will eat, if you eat too much beyond what you need, it doesn't work that way. Parang it won't aid in weight loss pa. Kasi nga you're eating too much. Tapos yung quality pa ng food, if it's the food items that are calorie dense or energy dense, yun. Talagang tataba ka, in short.
So Gail, Christmas bonus na to, no? Na-mention mo kasi intermittent fasting. Is it effective to really how to lose weight? It's a way to lose weight?
It may aid in or jumpstart your weight loss, but it's not recommended for everyone po, no? So there are certain individuals that especially those with chronic diseases na hindi po talaga pwedeng mag-intermittent fasting.
Yung mga diabetics, those taking medications for
Those,
diabetes.
yes, those on medications.
Yung mga, kunwari, karpintero, yung mga workers, no, construction workers, hindi rin pwede, no, kasi yung lifestyle nila, yung
Opo, those who have heavy work po, no? Oo, kailangan may constant nutrients po na intake. So,
you won't advise those things. Okay. Sige. So, sir, next po nating question while we're waiting for Dr. Diana. Kay Dr. Ronald, balik ko rin, sir, sa inyo yung question. Does a celebration give us a license or parang is an excuse na magpa-fireworks? 'Di ba? Sabihin nila, ay naku, once a year lang naman yan. Yung mga bata, parang nung bata nga tayo, naranasan natin yan as parents, 'di ba? Or as naranasan natin yan. Yung bata, hindi nila mararanasan yan, it's only once a year. How would magmamask naman yan, magga-gloves or anything? How would you explain this to our followers and to our patients?
Based na rin siguro in my own experience in my community, in my province na lumaki ako, grabe po talaga yung fireworks na ginagamit na very hindi po maingat na paggamit, no? So in our culture, in our traditions, mahirapan talaga yung iba na walang paputok, no? But should also consider na what if, no? Magkamali ka lang talaga, no? Hindi mo na pwedeng ibalik yung naputol na nakamay or na nangyari, no? So based on my readings, the best way pa rin po is to avoid na accidents. Better po is to attend na lang or witness na community-based, community organized na mga fireworks, or yun po, yung mga alternatives natin. Kung gusto mo mag-ingay, you can use yung busina sa sasakyan or any alternative such as your torotot or ano po yung pwede.
Sa mga bata, encourage na lang natin yung torotot, saka yung mga drums, na toy drums, no? So, hindi natin dapat i-encourage yung paputok. Yun nga, Dr. Ronald din, buti in-emphasize mo yung Watusi. Ang daming bata bumibili ng Watusi. So, ano po ba yung dangers nito sa Watusi?
Yung sa dangers niya po is it can lead to poisoning po if mataas po yung concentration or yung na-ingest niya. Then since usually po ang gumagamit nito based on my nabasa ko po is mga bata, and very fragile po yung mga kamay nila. Maliit lang po ito, but still it can significantly damage po doon sa mga kamay nila if nagkaroon po ng mga accidents or yung mga errors po yung sa pag-handle nila sa fireworks po.
Okay. Sige. Alam ko marami pa po tayong questions, but before I will be back sa inyo, Dr. Ronald and Dr. Gail, may we call on again Dr. Diana for her lecture on another health essential during the season about alcohol drinking. Doktora, good morning po.
Good morning to everyone. Unfortunately, I cannot download my lecture. I don't know what happened. So I'm using another platform. So just to remind everyone that it is really a time for celebration. It is a time for everyone um, to be celebrating and wishing everyone Merry Christmas. It has been 2 years since we have been in pandemic, and we really have to understand that a lot of the factor, first time natin mag face-to-face nito, Ginger. So I think what is evident is we need to share that if we are going to celebrate, we have to celebrate with responsibility, and we want to be healthy for the next few months. No, so para ho sa amin, in the Philippine College of Physicians, we'd like you to be healthy. That's why we came up with this forum. Unfortunately, I really
Recording in
my slide.
progress.
I don't know what happened. So just to remind, but I'll be happy to answer all the questions that you want. In case you want to ask questions on alcohol, alcohol has been said to be uh, part of celebration of Filipinos. In fact, alcoholic liver disease has been increasing in the past few years, and that is why we are worried because people think that alcohol is always there, should be there when we celebrate. It makes us happy. Pero nakita ho natin sa pag-aaral, and I think I have lectured this in a few sessions with the PCP, that alcohol indeed is something that we need to be very careful when we take, because it can afford a lot of problems. In fact, now we have some evidence saying that binge drinking, yung bang pag-inom minsan pero mataas, it's actually defined as four bottles of beer in 2 hours. So yan po ay nagkakakos ngayon ng alcoholic hepatitis. It can cause especially if you have a background of MAFLD, metabolic associated fatty liver disease, diabetes, overweight, all of this can add up more to problems related to alcohol. So liver diseases and other pathologies. So I hope we will be careful in taking our alcohol, because this can afford so many dangerous effects, not only in our health, but you see a lot of accidents, a lot of unworry or adverse effects. This can produce problems related to it. So sana po ay mag-ingat po tayo sa pag-inom. We celebrate with fun. I know it's our first face-to-face Christmas for the past 3 years, but we want to celebrate with, of course, responsibility and the healthy Christmas in the future.
Thank you, ma'am, for your message and as well as your lecture.
I'm trying to download my lecture, but I don't know what happened. Parang hindi yata pumapasok dito kasi I'm in a different...
Ma'am, bigyan natin ng next time if ever po may opportunity. So ma'am, bigay ko po rin same question po sa inyo. Does the celebration give us a license or an excuse to drink naman? Kasi kay Gail to eat. Tapos kay Dr. Ronald to use fireworks, ganyan, or to play with the fireworks, nga. Kayo naman, ma'am, di ba parang sa atin, di ba, uy, minsan lang naman yan, once a year, mag-inuman, nagkita-kita ang barkada, ang mga pamilya. KJ naman itong doktor na to. Ano po ba, doktor, ang opinion niyo dyan?
Well, as I mentioned, you have the liberty to drink water, to drink. Maybe you also have to be very careful if you're diabetic to drink soft drinks or juices. So sa atin po, I have read in the recent data, binge drinking alone Ibig sabihin yung pag-inom po ng beer, 4 na bote ng beer in 2 hours. Kasi I know we do a lot of people do binge drinking after exam, after work, weekend drinkers, yung bang magsasama-sama yung mga sa isang kumpanya, no? And now it's Christmas and especially New Year. They've said that more people drink in New Year than in Christmas, no? So ito po ay hindi po reason for us to celebrate with dangerous effect, no? So sinabi na nga ni that alcohol is something that we need to be very careful, because when you drink alcohol, binge drinking alone, drinking for 4 bottles of beer in 2 hours in a short span of time, you can be at risk to develop alcoholic hepatitis. And then of course, especially when you drive going home, that can also produce an effect. You can hit accidents. A lot of accidents are known to be increased during New Year's Eve, no? And even crimes, no? 2 celebrated cases last year related to New Year's event celebration. All of them said they were drunk. So I think we have to be very careful when we drink alcohol. It has not only an effect to ourselves, but to other people. Like if you're driving, kunyari nagmamaneho ka, tapos dala mo yung buong pamilya mo, no? So the risk for that, tapos yung ibabangga mo pang tao, so marami mong epekto niyan, collateral effects ang alcohol. So sana po ay mag-ingat po tayo. If you want to drink, sana po alam nyo na kaya ho ng atay ninyo. So yun po ang aming sinasabi na I don't really advocate drinking alcohol. There are other things naman na pwede nating i-celebrate, no? And you can, marami hong games na ngayon na nagkakatuwaan. So I think this is something that you can look forward to in the coming season.
Ayun din, ma'am. Question naman po. Di ba may sinasabi naman sila na yung red wine is good, it's healthy for the heart. So kunwari, doktora, sabihin nila, wine naman po ang iinumin ko. Ano po bang difference yan? Sasabihin ng iba, healthy ang wine. Ano po bang difference sa whiskey?
Spirits actually, a lot of people drink more spirits than hard drinks. No? Pero hard drinks kasi ngayon ang pinupunti nila. Spirits alone, they contain also grams of alcohol. Ang wine kasi, red wine, the lowest amount of grams per alcohol will be about 14. And the limit is about 12 grams of alcohol per day for you to be said to have a concentration that is pertinent to the liver. No? Meron mga white wine na less than 10, mga 8 grams of alcohol. So kung mamimili po tayo, mas gusto po namin ang white wine. Now, yung sinasabi po nilang red wine daw is good for the heart. May data kasi na nilabas po ang Lancet that the protective effects of alcohol is overcome by the deleterious effect. Ibig sabihin, mas maraming dangerous effect ang alcohol kesa sa protective effect. Ito po ay bagong pag-aaral that was already published, at yun po ang pinipick up ngayon ng Hepatology Society of the Philippines and even the Asian Pacific Study of the Liver, that alcohol now is a worrisome problem because alcohol-related liver disease and alcohol-related diseases, not only in diabetes, not only in cardiovascular disease. Yung sinasabing cardiovascular effect, isang effect lang yon. Pero very little protective effect. It can, now there is the so-called alcoholic heart syndrome. No? Ibig sabihin, during the time you're drinking alcohol, it can produce dilated cardiomyopathy, a lot of other cardiovascular diseases. So sana po mag-ingat po tayo sa pag-inom. Hindi po protective ang alcohol sa heart. It is actually deleterious for some effect in the heart. In fact, I just admitted a patient now who developed a stroke after drinking a lot of alcohol. So nakakasayang po na sa isang idlip ng selebrasyon, tayo po ay magkakaroon ng ganitong simptomas.
Okay. So ma'am, very clear no, hindi lang sa liver yung effect ng alcohol, it's really parang multi-system no ma'am ang epekto ng
Oh, multi-system sa sarili mo, no? So, but remember that it also has an effect on the other people around you. No, kunyari, ikaw ay magmamaneho at lasing ka. So yung mga kasama mo at risk, hindi lang 'yon, yung babanggain mo pang kotse, 'di ba? Tapos yung celebrated case last year when it happened in a hotel, everybody was drunk and it ended up with a person dying from it. So everybody, so yung kanilang New Year was spent on investigation and all of this. You don't like that, no? So the collateral effects of alcohol is also worrisome.
Yes. Saka doktora, minsan, although hindi wala sa topic po natin, i-remind din po natin yung mga kabataan na pag nakainom na po, may mga dinadagdag pang doktora ibang gamot, yung mga substance abuse, di ba po, nalalagyan pa ng anong bagay. Although hindi po kasama sa topic namin today, very important din to remind our followers and our patients regarding to care na minsan yung mga anak natin or yung mga pamangkin, sa sobrang ligaya, minsan di nila napapansin may nilalagay na palang mga substance na bawal, no? Like cocaine or shabu. Tapos yun nga, nangyayari nga yun, doktora, tama po, yung mga minsan yung rape cases, no? Yung kinento nga po ninyo. So we don't want to end up with that kind of celebration na imbis naging celebration, naging problem pa po tuloy. So yan, thank you, doktora. So, i-question na lang po tayo na i-summarize lang po. I know may konting constraint na po tayo sa time. I would just like to ask our speaker, doktora, later na po kayo na mag-summarize nung because I would like to ask from you to give a Christmas message sa ating mga PCP members. May I call on first Gail? Gail, please summarize your lecture and your Christmas message to our followers kung paano to eat healthy during the season.
Yes, so good morning again. Thank you very much for listening. I would like to just remind our listeners that when we are celebrating with food and drinks, always remember to eat in moderation. So that's the number one thing you have to remember. As I mentioned, Harahachi Bonni, it's eating up to 80% full. And then you have to choose the healthier food choices. Or if there are a lot of foods, you have to mix. If you're going to eat a fatty meal, make sure that the next one is a healthier one. It shouldn't be full of fat, or let's say full of cream or sweets or desserts. So it's really a choice of eating less of the portion sizes and choosing the healthier choices. So when we say healthier choices, it has to be more of your vegetables, as what is taught in the healthy food plate. Half of your plate is vegetables, 1/4 is meat, and 1/4 is your carbs and its alternatives. So thank you very
Gail. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Okay. Dr. Ronald Palma, please summarize your lecture and your message to our listeners and followers.
Yung message ko po is as presented in my lecture, no? So nakikita na po natin yung trend na lesser na po yung mga fireworks related na incidents, although comparing from previous years na 2021, 2022, bumabalik po yung trend ulit, no? So nakaya naman natin na less yung firecrackers nung time ng pandemic, so ituloy-tuloy na natin, no? So then crisis po ngayon, better use po ng resources natin sa mga bagay na mas kailangan. And then mas napakita din po natin na meron po talagang harmful effects yung pollution na na-create ng fireworks. And then we have these alternative ways celebrating the New Year safely. And then mas maganda po na in our family, yung celebration po natin during the New Year is hindi po siya mahaluan ng mga accidents such as firework-related na incidents. So, yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ronald. Galing pa si Doc sa South area. Thank you from PCCP. Maraming salamat po for giving us Dr. Ronald to lecture on this. And our final message from our President, Dr. Payawal, to your members, us, your members and colleagues from the PCP, and to our patients and followers, ano po ang Christmas message nyo sa aming lahat?
Okay. Well, Christmas is most truly Christmas when we celebrate it by giving the light of love to those who need it most. So I think we are all lucky to be here during Christmas. And we'd like to celebrate it with all our friends and families, and of course, our colleagues, and of course, those who are not so lucky. So let us celebrate by being healthy, by advocating a healthy lifestyle. Ako po ay nagpapasalamat kay Dr. Ginger for coming up with this module para ho i-remind sa atin that we can still celebrate without all of those unwanted side effects, no? Yung side effects ng pagkakain ng marami, tapos may alta presyon kayo, nasa hospital kayo, na atake kayo sa puso, o kaya nagse-celebrate kayo ng mga quitties, tapos meron ho kaming, I remember when I was a resident, meron hong everybody, kasi pag Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, we are on 24 hours call that time kasi marami hong nagpapaputok. So wala hong kamay the next year, no? Wala hong fingers the next year. Ayaw po natin yon. And of course, alcohol. Ayaw naman natin nagkaroon ng sira ang atay natin, ang ating puso, magka-stroke tayo. All of these are side effects of binge drinking and excessive alcohol drinking. So tayo po ay maging malusog sa Pasko. As I mentioned, Christmas is there because we have to celebrate for so many things. We have overcome slightly the pandemic. We're still in the pandemic, but we are now a lot better than we were 2 years ago when we were all locked down. So marami po tayong mapapasalamatan sa ating Panginoon na tayo po ay nandito at healthy. And of course, we'd like to share it with the rest. As I mentioned, share it to those who need it most. Not only financially, but also in spiritual, and probably to those who lost their loved ones during the last 2 years of pandemic. Let's make them happy. This is one way of sharing what Christmas is. So salamat po, and on behalf of the Board of Directors of the Philippine College of Physicians, as well as all the members and the Executive Council, and of course the Secretariat Committee, we'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's celebrate it, and let's celebrate it healthily. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Payawal. Very well said. Maraming salamat po. So before we close this webinar on the Health Essentials this Christmas, may I call on the Board of Regent, Dr. Regina Barba. She's also my Regent Champion for the Committee on Media Communications and Health Forum. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. Wow, that's really a big treat for all of us, for our media partners, at saka yung lahat ng audience na nakinig sa atin. Saan pa ba tayo makakakita ng tatlong power lectures, no, given to us over a very brief period of time to remind us all na yun yung messages nilang tatlo ng ating 3 valuable speakers, that pwede naman mag-celebrate, but we need to do some kind of control and planning of what we're going to do for the Christmas celebrations. So the gist actually of this webinar is really to give us some reminders on, ang tawag ko dito, cautious catch up. Kasi lahat tayo, we're trying to catch up with life, with what we may have missed over the last 2 to 3 years. So we're trying to catch up with family, with friends, daming reunions, shopping, traveling, etc., etc. But and maybe even good food, no? Good food, fireworks, alcohol, lahat ng what we missed before, we're trying to catch up with them. But as our speaker said, maghinay-hinay, we need to think about everything we're going to do and do it safely. Parang maganda yung sinabi ni Dr. Gail, yung love it or leave it, make a plan and keep your focus. At saka sabi ni Dr. Ronald, di ba, it's better to keep our families and friends safer if we can avoid the accidents of fireworks. And of course, the message of Dr. Diana, we could have really a happy celebration. Pero hinay-hinay dito sa use of alcohol because alcohol has both acute, yung biglaan na effects, and long-term or chronic effects. And we'd like to avoid all of those. So again, I echo in behalf of the Board of Regents of the Philippine College of Physicians. I'd like to greet everybody the merriest, the happiest Christmas, and the most prosperous New Year ahead. Gusto ko rin pasalamatan again, palakpakan natin ulit ang ating three great speakers, Dr. Frances Gil Turalba, Dr. Ronald Palma, and of course, our President, Dr. Diana Payawal. And I'd also want to congratulate the Committee on Media Communications, Dr. Ginger, and all the staff behind every webinar we put out. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. So, salamat po sa pakikinig. Alam ko nga po na excited na tayo lahat ngayong Pasko. Pero bago kami po magpaalam, kasi this will be our last airing for the year. For our Health Forum. May mga tips po tayong gusto nating iwanan sa inyo. Always eat healthy food. Exercise regularly. Avoid drinking too much alcohol. Sabi nga ni Dr. Payawal, kung pwede, wag na nga daw uminom. Magtubig na lang daw po tayo. And avoid too much sweets. COVID is still much with us. Though we have already been vaccinated, it is still advised to avoid crowded areas. Practice minimum health requirements like regular hand washing. And if you have not been vaccinated or have not received your booster shot, please do so. The true meaning of Christmas is not about the loud noises, the extravagant celebration, but it is the time spent with your family, friends, and loved ones. Discipline and awareness of being healthy and safe is far more important, and to celebrate more years of Christmases together. So hanggang sa muli, ito po si Dr. Ginger Samonte, the head of the Media Communications and Health Forum of the PCP na bumabati sa inyo ng isang maligayang Pasko, manigong bagong taon. Let us all be healthy and safe. Maraming salamat. Till next year.
The Philippine College of Physicians, through the Committee on Media Communication and Health Forum, wishes to thank its media partners, social media followers, and participants. See you again next time, here on the PCP Health Forum.
Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you.